Welcome to the Void. Today we're going to be going over some good old focus on the family, and they're talking about abortion. They're already doing their victory lap on Roe versus Wade. Isn't that great, everyone? Roe versus Wade is gone. Hooray, hooray. This is actually terrible, and I can't believe this is actually happening, that we're so close that these people believe that they can get away with a victory lap. This is going to be really interesting because this is going to reveal the next steps in the pro-life movement if, and it's still an if the court decision of Roe versus Wade is overturned or limited in some way. Let's see what these people think they can get away with next.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Roe v. Wade has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Roe v. Wade has got to go!
I want to point out, and you'll see this a lot throughout the video, the people that they show that are like their audience is what looks to be high school and college age kids. Usually white, probably like from the Midwest or South or something. I don't know where this is. But definitely like that age group and demographic. So young kids who don't necessarily have the haven't necessarily been in the position to make that choice, and so they just grow up believing that this is wrong because their parents tell them so and have told them so their whole life. That's the audience that Focus on the Family is showing as the people that they are trying to reach, trying to use. Yep, more of them. Women do regret abortion. Yeah, and people also regret not having abortions. Like, you can say that, and that's true in some cases because of, not allegorical, but anecdotal evidence. There are cases where people regret abortions, and there are also cases where people are glad they had abortions. This is a talking point I heard a lot in the church, where people would come up on stage sometimes. It'd be about once a year, Focus on the Family or someone like that would come to our church and talk about abortion and why it's wrong. And a lot of what they would say is, these women regretted it and therefore it's a bad thing because these people were clearly in the right for their feelings and not in the right for making that choice, and we are going to validate their feelings and weaponize them against all of you, because if you make this decision, you could be in the same position that they are. We're just not going to acknowledge how that is like, how that doesn't allow for any other like analysis. That just ends the conversation right there. Some people have regrets, therefore everyone who has them has regrets. It's a complete over-exaggeration that's weaponized against people.
So in a post-Roe world, it will still...
Separativa? Where is she from?
So in a post-Roe world...
Spera Vita. Okay. What is the Spera Vita Institute? Vita means life, if I remember right. Let's look it up. I wouldn't be surprised if it means spare a life. And it would be almost on the nose if it was. Oh, no. Oh. The Spera Vita Institute. Hope for life is one of the first things. Okay, it's Italian. Hope for life. Helping pregnancy centers become highly effective at rescuing women and children from abortion. Okay, so we automatically get a sense of who this organization is and what their goals are. They are trying to stop abortions, and they think abortion is something you have to be rescued from. Oh boy, well, glad to see they've partnered with the other organization that's trying to promote anti-abortion ideas through religion. Wait, where'd it go? Which tab was it? Oh no! Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So you're the executive director of this organization. Good.
It will still be very important to equip centers to reach those abortion-minded, abortion-determined women.
Abortion-minded, abortion-determined women. These people who are so set on abortion. They're abortion-minded, abortion-determined. We have to change them before they can kill. Like, they're the way they're framing this sets up anyone who wants an abortion as someone who is making, at the very least, a wrong choice, if not an evil choice, and they have to be stopped so that the baby can live, or the baby can come to term, even if that baby isn't viable, even if it might kill the mother. They have to stop the abortion.
Centers still need to be equipped. If Roe doesn't get overturned, we're still going to be hard at our work equipping centers to reach these high-risk women.
It's high risk women. High risk women. Wanting an abortion makes you high risk. That is quite the bias you're presenting there. If you really think that anytime someone wants an abortion, that automatically makes them a high risk individual, that presents this idea that they have to be like watched out for, that they are this danger, which is not the case. People who get an abortion it's something that should happen all the time. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go get a quick procedure to get this mole removed. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go get a quick procedure to get this fetus removed. That's all it is. That's all it is. All right, let's look up the Family Policy Alliance. Anytime I see family in some sort of American organization, I automatically get triggered into thinking, okay, this is something that's pro-babies and probably Christian. What was it? Family something Alliance? Family Policy. Family Policy Alliance. Oh, look, it's in red. Good to know they're also transphobic. Ah, boy. It is an anti-abortion action group. Oh, that's not good. That's a U.S. edition. Yeah, you're right. It is an action group. They have a bunch of issues they still... Okay, let's look at these issues that they stand for to really get a sense of the people who are on the pro-life side of this argument. Life. Dedicated to protecting human life from the time of fertilization to natural end, because we recognize every human is created in the image of God. Okay, so at least they are putting out the words that they want to keep people alive from beginning to end. But then we scroll down. Look, okay, protect the most vulnerable, preborn children, their mothers, those with disabilities or serious illness. Good for them. That's a good thing. And the elderly. Okay. In defense of life, we oppose abortion, euthanasia, assisted suicide, human cloning, and technologies that harm the dignity of life. For the record, and I don't want to get too much on a tangent, but for the record, there is nothing wrong with someone who, if they make the informed decision and they have the cognitive ability to ask for euthanasia and assisted suicide, and they're in a situation where, say they have a terminal disease and they don't want to suffer through it, I personally don't think there's an issue with them getting it. Now, I know that's a hot topic, and there's wiggle room and there's gray area, and I don't have an answer for every situation, but that is the basic position where I stand. As for human clothing, let me go back to that real quick. I think that if you are forcing people to stay alive and just automatically cutting out a solution that lowers harm, that lowers suffering, and forcing people to stay alive because you think life is better than having less pain, that's where I'd have an issue with you. As for human cloning, like, yeah, we definitely have to be careful with it, and I think there's a lot of structures in place in the scientific community to watch out for unethical uses of it. But there's also a lot we can learn from it, including like stem cell research and other things. It's not inherently a bad idea, and putting any of these things as inherently bad ideas eliminates any possibility that we could learn anything or better our society from at least having the option of them. Okay, what else do they have? Family. Let's look at what they think the family is. It's definitely going to be God related because they've already mentioned God. Let's see what they talk about. Family, as God designed it, is the building block of society. From it flows life, the imparting of faith and values. And the imparting of faith and values. Family is the single best institution for protecting, providing for, and training children. Ukabuga Wakanda. Assisted sounds good. I mean, it can be in the right context. In the right context, in the right situation, it can be. But I'm not going to pretend like it's the answer for everything or that everyone should do it. You're right. It can be good, and there are ways at times in which it can sound good. Welcome to the stream, by the way. It's nice to see you. Family of... Okay, where were we? As the smallest and first form of government, God instituted... Sorry, wait. That's not where it was. Family is the single best institution for providing for and training children, honoring and caring for the elderly, fulfilling our most basic needs. As the first and smallest form of government God instituted, families also serve as an important check on the power and size of government. When families thrive, nations thrive. This is the most conservative way of framing this I've ever read. For the record, if you don't know, conservatives are all about small government, and the smaller the better. I once had an argument with my dad who got backed into a corner of just saying small government is better and more responsive, not understanding that small governments have less resources and can be less flexible based on that and the communities around them that support them and say that we don't want X, Y, and Z, whether they know it's good for them or not. As for framing the family as the smallest form of government, that when you take it in the perspective of anti-federalized government and how the family should run things outside of there's states' rights, and then below that there's the local government, which conservatives love to talk about. Oh, it should just be the local government's thing to do X, Y, and Z. A, families don't have the resources to do everything. B, families aren't necessarily a good... People don't always have good families. There's no guarantee that families are good or checks on families to be good and helpful. And C, a family cannot be a check on the federal government. A family is too small of a unit to possibly be a check on the family government. This is just idealized talking points that have no basis in reality. When families thrive, nations thrive is such a talking point that people like to throw out because, oh, we just need happy families, not understanding what it actually takes to have happy families, which usually requires support and monetary security so that people can live happy, safe lives. You can't have happy families without ensuring their monetary and physical safety and mental safety. Aragonet, we are authoritarian, but we want small government. We say we want small government. Yeah, no, here's the thing. They are both. They want certain things regulated this hard, but outside of those regulations, they are they say you can do whatever you want. They don't want any regulations outside of X, Y, and Z. Basically anarchism, but they control the culture instead of the economy or the legal system or whatever. That's really what they're after, is controlling the economy. Uga Buga Wakanda. Am I single? I am not. I actually have two wonderful partners, one of whom is coming to see me tomorrow, and that's why I'm going on hiatus after this. I'm going to be gone for 1 to 2 weeks. I'll see you all after this, so I'm putting out a bunch of content today. Also, they actually want small government because it's a limited government, wouldn't be messing with women's bodies autonomy like this. Yeah, no, that's true. A limited government would not have the ability to do such things, such as limiting people's rights to abortion. They just want to control cultures. What's wrong with low taxes? Again, not to get on too much of a tangent, low taxes inherently isn't wrong, but you do need to be able to support social services so that all members of the society that live under your government can be secure in their own lives. And because when people are secure in their own lives, people are more happy to engage in the economy, which helps the government thrive and helps the people around you thrive. It helps it helps your mental security. It helps everyone feel healthier and safer, and it helps the communities as a whole like support each other. So you have taxes so that you can support the people around you, so that you can make the world around you better. Eric Annette. They just want low taxes and unrestrained capitalism and the freedom to oppress others. Exactly. They don't want restrictions on themselves. They think anything that targets them, and when I say them, what I'm talking about is the middle class to upper elite of our society don't want things that target them, because they see that as the only obstacle left. When you're in the lower class, you have a lot more obstacles like daily jobs and paychecks and struggles with paying for your car and rent and all of that stuff. As you get higher up into the strata of our society, a lot of those struggles fade away. So the only problem and obstacle that everyone ends up facing is taxes. And that's why a lot of these people don't like taxes, because it's really the only thing they have left. They want authoritarian government for everyone but themselves. There's a reason these people are called fascists, because they want to control the culture, and for that they need an authoritarian government, but they want freedom to abuse their position, and for that they need a small or deregulated government. And that's really what they're going for. Let's keep going. Sexuality. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Remember, these are the people who think that Roe versus Wade should be removed, should be repealed. God's design for humans as male and female cannot be changed. Our biological sex is written into the DNA of every cell in our bodies and intricately interwoven with how we live in society and relate to others. Marriage is God's design for uniting the male and female halves of humanity and serves as the ideal context for romantic, sexual love and for creating new life. Forms of sexual interaction outside of marriage between one man and one woman distort God's gift of sexuality. Well, okay. First of all, cannot be changed. I can change my gender whenever I want. I can be, what's that TikTok song? I can be a boy or I can be a bride. I can be, do you want the masculine or feminine side? That thing? Yeah, what do you want? Our biological sex is written into the DNA. Yes, our sex is written into our DNA. And you know what? Our sex is not binary. There are intersex people who are XXY or other combinations. It's not always XX and XY. And to pretend like it is goes against basic science that you could learn in middle school. Marriage is God's design for uniting people. This is just basic homophobia. I really can't believe we're still dealing with this in 2022 when we went through these arguments in the 2000s when gay marriage was being discussed, and they're still going at it because religion is the last bastion for conserving old ideas. Honestly, this is the only place in today's world where you find homophobia. It's just in religion. Sexual attraction outside of marriage between a man and a woman distorts God's gift of sexuality. Well, first I want to point out they do mention both romantic and sexual love, which I appreciate because there are multiple kinds of love. And yeah, that's wonderful. Now, is it the only way to have a romantic relationship? No. I have two wonderful partners. And actually I have more than that. I have several wonderful partners, and they're all amazing. I have I love them all differently. Some I love very romantically. Some I love very sexually, and that sexual attraction can fade and return over time. It's something that I feel is important, but not something I can maintain because I'm also an asexual person, and my sexuality is going to be fluid. And my partners know this and understand this. Distorts God's gift of sexuality. Well, guess what? I don't care because God's gift of sexuality is not a gift. It is a simple fact of our existence. It is not something we are given and must be thankful for. It is a fact of our lives, and we must learn about and acknowledge in a healthy way so that we can handle it appropriately. Oh boy, and religious freedom. Thank you for that comment, Uga Buga Wakanda. I am glad you are kidding. They believe there's one love which is sexual and romantic. Yes, but the fact that they split it up into both is something that I appreciate. That's not something I see a lot, and I will take anything I can get from these people because these people I just have lower standards for than I do with most people. Religious freedom. Family Policy Alliance is dedicated to preserving our freedom to believe, share, and live out our faith. Yeah, sure. Publicly as well as privately. This is where I have issue because as soon as you try to live out your faith publicly with these people, it leads to issues where their beliefs will contradict with other people's beliefs, and they will say that their beliefs come first because it is their religiously held belief system. Our nation's founders recognized that this God-given freedom is so fundamental to who we are, they preserved it in the Constitution's First Amendment. Yes, and a lot of our founders were not actually Christian. They just took on that label because that was what everyone took on at the time. Thomas Jefferson was deist. Some of them were just straight up atheist. Thomas Jefferson was the one who promoted the idea of the separation of church and state. Like, he didn't want God in our country. In our government. We promote policies that protect and enhance this freedom for individuals, families, ministries, and companies, and defend policies that erode constitutional protections. Note that they say ministries, which is an inherently Christian term, which automatically tells me they are only interested in this in the terms of Christianity and no other faith. Also, freedom in healthcare means freedom to discriminate, as well as freedom from businesses. All right, some other stuff about biblical citizen. I don't even want to get into that. Anyway, so these are the people that Focus on the Family is standing with. What do you got to say for yourself?
The responsibility of the church to rally the body of Christ, as they're doing in Texas now.
Oh, the Texas bill? Really? The Texas bill where you can sue people, like anyone can sue anyone else for possibly helping with an abortion? That's one of the most invasive and awful laws I've ever had the displeasure of reading about. Also, I'm sorry for the lack of closed captions. They do not have closed captions on this video. That feature has been turned off for this.
And really meet people where they are. That's what we hope.
Note the Trump... Hang on. Skipping back because I want to point something out.
And really meet...
Note the Trump flag back there. 2024. Like, these people have a certain political leaning that they are promoting and using religion as part of the means to get people to this political leaning and vice versa. There's a lot of interbleeding between Christians, especially between Christians and Republicans, and from there it's easy to go to Trump and other more extreme people. Come on.
Meet people where they are. That's what we hope and pray that our Supreme Court rules, but we also are going to have to get behind these mothers.
Deserve better than abortion? Like what? Not getting pregnant in the first place? Being able to have sex without being afraid of pregnancy? Yes. Let's let everyone have birth control. Let's let that be free everywhere and let people make their own decisions about it without stigmatizing abortion and birth control. Let's do that instead, can we? No? Because you think that's just pre-abortion? Oh, that's so sad.
Others and help them welcome these babies in, because we want each one of those lives to live to their God-given potential.
God-given potential. Let's just ignore how some babies aren't viable and that is their potential, how some babies might risk the viability of the mother's life and that's their potential is coming out of the womb. You could say coming out murdering their mother. That is an extreme way of framing it, but that is a way to frame it. It's not that was not a very well framed way of saying it, and that's something they always like to say because it just promotes their own beliefs that the potential is always going to be positive and never acknowledging any negative side effects that might happen from it.
Roe versus Wade isn't just going to go away the day the Supreme Court hands down their decision.
Students for Life of America. So this is someone who is reaching out to the same audience we pointed out before, high schoolers and college kids, and trying to get them onto the anti-abortion side so that they can have young people to carry on this fight as people get older. Because a lot of boomers and Gen Xers are getting old.
And hopefully in June. We have a lot of work to do now and then after, because this battle will really shift from Washington, D.C. to 50 state capitals.
I mean,
there you go. There's their next goal. After they get Roe versus Wade repealed, they're gonna try to get abortion made illegal in every single state in this country, because they know that there will be some states like California, like New York, that will continue to support abortion.
it's not enough to just say we're pro-life, so I encourage families
Founder of Let Them Live, another thing that's crying out for, oh, the babies, let them live, let them live.
to not only, show up for the March for Life, but also donate.
Whoever saves one life saves the world entire. Wait, what? The world entire? Did they mean to write that backwards?
Donate to organizations. I think that's really impactful. I think also
Ooga Booga Wakanda. Propaganda? Yeah, that's exactly what this is. Everything you're seeing here, every word you hear, every image you see is all picked to present a certain image and that abortion is wrong, and all these people believe it. All these people support this. Therefore, it's right to think that abortion is wrong, and we need to get rid of it. And that there's real support and energy on our side that you can join and feel safe in this belief in. That's what they're trying to say here.
just speaking truth.
It's so important that we share our pro.
United States House Representative from L.A. 0005. Oh, good. So we have some anti-abortion person speaking for Focus on the Family here from the U.S. Capitol. Isn't that fun?
Life values with our children. Start them young. My parents did
Start
with
them
me.
young.
Tell them about how.
Indoctrinate them from the age before they have the ability to have critical thinking. That's definitely a smart idea.
How important it is for us to fight for those who do not have a voice. Take them to these marches, to these rallies, and just show them that together, collectively.
That's why they're going for the high schoolers and the college kids. If you can get them before they are able to think about their beliefs, before they have the experience to really critique these ideas, then you can have them for years and years to come.
When we raise our voices as one, we can make a huge difference and have the power to save millions.
Again, just notice how every image there's always like a lot of people, or there's some sign that has some easy to remember catchphrase on it, or some popular image on it that like, oh, see, it's always there's always something that it can stick in your mind.
Of lives.
I want to encourage everyone
Dr.
to have
Anita
faith,
pro-life advocate.
to have hope, and to have love. Even when things seem at their worst, whether it's COVID or race wars or bad weather, all of those things happen.
No, I'm not even going to touch on the
My
race war,
grandfather,
but
Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Sr., would often say while he was here on earth, thank God for what we have left.
That made me feel uncomfortable using Martin Luther King Sr.'s name like that, because that inherently invokes Martin Luther King Jr., who she sounds like the daughter of. And like, look, when she mentioned race wars, it sounded like she was anti-BLM. I don't know now, because being the daughter of Martin Luther King Jr., I would at least expect you to be on the side of BLM just ideologically. But I don't know. And I'm not going to comment on that. I just am disappointed that the daughter the granddaughter of Martin Luther King, possibly the niece or nephew, possibly the niece of Martin Luther King Jr., that she's with Focus on the Family now. I'm sad to see that.
We have each other. We should have
There's
faith,
more
hope,
Trump
and love.
flags.
I'm a parent, a mother, and a grandmother. The Bible tells us to teach truth in every generation. And so as parents and grandparents,
So here you have more anecdotal evidence. Yes, people regret abortions, and I don't if you are sad about your abortion, that is 100% valid. If you feel sad that what you did is bad, like, I get that. It's a hard decision to make. And you are right in feeling however you feel about it. But don't use your guilt to convince others to make a different decision, because your guilt is does not apply to everyone's situation, and people can have different situations that is really the only choice left for them. And even if it's not, even if they just want one and they think it's good for them, you don't get to use your trauma and weaponize it against someone else. And that's what I see so much in this.
parents, and even great-grandparents, let's talk to our children about God, about the sanctity of human life from the womb to the tomb. And as we do that together, we will overcome.
Get equipped for a post-Roe world. They really think they're going to win this one. I hope they're wrong. Argonet, do these people accuse someone of mass murder when they fap into a tissue? I have heard that idea before, but that's usually the most extreme, the most anti-woman sort of people I've seen who are also anti-fap who present that idea. That's not most people. Okay, so what was this video? Aside from just sheer propaganda, it was basically an ad to say we are not going to stop, keep the motivation going. This was basically a video to focus on the family's base, to the religious right, to the fundamentalist Christians who follow them and believe in them, that this is something worth fighting for, and that you have to stay motivated. Don't just stop fighting for us. Don't just stop supporting us when you have that first level of success that we've been fighting for. There's more to do, and so we are going to keep going, and we keep wanting your support, aka your money, so that we can continue this fight. It's really just dangerous to think about, because what they're doing is putting a lot of women in danger. They're putting a lot of people in danger for what could be a life-saving procedure for some women. And just saying it's inherently wrong, even though and this is my favorite thing, even though there is instructions in the Bible, in, I believe it's Exodus or either that or Deuteronomy. It's early in the Bible. There is instructions in there on how to perform an abortion. You can find it when you look up like how the Jews used it as a way to tell if a woman was faithful or not. If the abortion worked, she was unfaithful. If the abortion didn't work, she was faithful. And a baby in her stomach was hers. Because if it was aborted, God didn't want it, and therefore it would like not be viable. So what these people are doing is A, literally non-biblical, because abortion is clearly promoted in the Bible. B, harmful to women just on a basic level. And C, it's really just promoting this cult, religion, politics, fuckery that everything sort of gets wrapped into, where religion gets mixed into politics, which gets mixed into religion, which gets mixed into politics, through this abortion life and abortion life debate. We saw how this extended to homophobia and transphobia. We saw how this extended to all sorts of other issues, religious freedom, and trying to get away with all sorts of stuff for religiously held beliefs. With that organization we looked into, I hope with all my heart that Roe versus Wade is not overturned in any way, so that these people can finally have another defeat. They keep having defeats, and I don't think that'll be the end of it. I think they'll just keep going, but because I don't think these people will ever admit defeat. I think you just have to wait for them to lose support. And videos like this are only going to keep drumming up support and keep exciting their base to keep pushing and never get tired. Anyways, let me know what you think down in the void below. Hit like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTube stuff. And thanks for watching. The void loves you.